Flying with your pride and joy can be really daunting. The last thing you want to do is turn up at your destination and find that your bike is damaged or broken. So here I'm going to show you how you can take relevant precautions to pack your bike correctly and protect it from any damage while in transit. For this video, I'm going to use a trusty cardboard box. Yes, I know there are many extravagant bike bags on the market, but to be honest, there's nothing wrong with a good old cardboard box. It's very light, so you can carry more weight than you'd be able to in a fancy bag. And lastly, you can go down your local bike shop and they'll happily give you a box to use. Get home from your trip and just throw it away. So to the tools that you need, I have two torque keys, T10 and T25, a multi-tool Allen key set, a 5mm T-bar Allen key, a flat-headed screwdriver, two small chocks of cardboard that will block the pads to stop the brakes being pulled, old school bottom bracket tool, which is actually for the center locking discs, and lastly, but no means least, a roll of packing tape to tape the box up when I'm finished. A little extra cardboard to protect some of the delicate areas, and overall protection, some bubble wrap. So firstly, we're going to try and remove the bulky items to make the frame nice and small to go in the box. You should take the pedals off first. It's a little bit easier when you've got the cassette and the back wheel installed in the bike. For removing these Crank Brothers pedals, I use an 8mm Allen key. We do have a video on how to remove your pedals, and that will be in the description down below. When you take the wheels off, it's a good idea to reinstall the axle into the fork for two reasons. The first is that you won't lose it, and the second one is that it keeps the chassis of the fork nice and stiff, so if it gets an impact at the bottom, it's nice and solid because the axle's in tight. When you come to remove your rear wheel, if you have a clutch derailleur like me, you need to turn that off so it moves nice and freely. Next thing, undo the axle. The wheel should drop out with just a pull of the derailleur, and there you go. Same applies to the rear axle. You want to reinstall it for the same reason, that if you get a hit on the frame, it won't damage the frame because the axle is in nice and tight. It's worth noting that some discs use this system, the center lock system, but the majority of discs use a 6-bolt system that's either a T25 like this one or a 4mm Allen key. A good little extra tip for protecting your disc rotors is to make a little cardboard sleeve like this, and then that way you can just put them together like so, and that will then protect your discs while they're in the bottom of the box. Now using these little cardboard blocks, now just place them inside of the caliper there, push them in nice and tight, and this will stop, if your brake's squeezed, it will stop your pistons going in too far. If the little cardboard piece does not work, get your screwdriver, carefully place it inside the caliper and just give it a little twist there to push the pads back. Then you should make enough space to slide it in there, like so. The next step is to remove your rear derailleur. Some people do like to remove your dropout as well. I don't like to do that. I like to leave it in. So I've removed my derailleur. Some people do like to remove the derailleur completely from the bike. I think it's fine just to zip tie it here inside the rear chainstays to the axle. And then what I do, because I also want to protect the dropout, because the last thing you want is to have a bent dropout. So I get cardboard, and you'll see that the derailleur sits nicely in there. So get your tape like that. You want to try and make this quite tight if you can. I like to remove my levers also, and then I tape them to the front of the fork once I use my bubble wrap over there. But keeps them all together, and you know they're not kinking any cables or anything's getting damaged. So lastly, you want to try and protect the main frame. What I'm going to do is just get this bubble wrap and wrap it around the bike as best I can. Remove your handlebars. We save this to last because it can be a bit of a pain when the fork decides it wants to drop through. Undo your stem bolts. My stem is held on with a T25 torque key. Handlebars removed. Replace the headset cap. This is where you need to get the bike into the box, because if I loose go of the fork, it will drop through and just become messy as all the bearings like this. And what I want to do is try and gauge the distance from the bottom of the box to the top of the box, so hopefully I can have the saddle right flush with the top. This will stop the bike moving around in the box and keep it nice and secure when it's in transit. So for the small parts, my grips and my pedals, I'm just going to use this old rag and simply just wrap them up like so. Now what I need to do is put them in a nice secure place where they're not going to move around too much. Inside my chainstays, it looks like a great place, and I know that they should stay there. Putting your wheels in a box can be a little bit of a juggling act. You need to make sure that the sharp bits on the wheels, like the cassette for example, are not going to damage the frame or push through the side of the box. There is a little bit of a trick you can do with pad the cassette out with a bit of cardboard to stop it pushing against the side and creating a hole. Likewise, it's also a good idea to do that on the front hub as well. The disc rotors that we packed away nicely, they can sit at the back of the box upright, so I know that they can't get damaged. Handlebars is difficult. I like to try and get them right in the bottom underneath the bike itself. Your riding shoes and other protection and riding gear can be great for padding out the bike that little bit more and adding that little bit more protection to your bike, which means you'll be safe in the mind that your bike won't get damaged while in transit. Now the last thing to do is to tape your box up. I would say that the more you use, the more chance there is of it staying together, and use a good quality tape so it's nice and sticky and doesn't peel off. So there you have it. That's how to pack a cardboard bike box. Don't need to spend hundreds of pounds on a fancy bike bag when you can use a perfectly good cardboard box. And for more videos here at GMBN, you click up here for our maintenance video of how to change your pedals. And if you click down here, there's our top 10 tips for how to ride in a bike park. For when you get to the other side, get your bike out and you know what to do to impress all the guys riding the bike park. And goes without saying, subscribe to the channel, just click just to my left and you'll never miss a video.